What is going on, Cowboy Nation? How is it going this amazing week, this trash talking week, this rivalry week, this get your hopes up and get them crushed this type of week? I am Primetime Phil, like always, my co-host, GameTime Bryan. GameTime, how you doing, man? Oh, wait a minute. I don't hear you.
I am so pumped up. Sorry, that was me. I was listening to your jam. People, I am fired up for the game. This is it, man. This is what it's all about. It's for the NFC rivalry, prime time. Dude,
Sunday night,
I live 30 minutes from the stadium. The Phillies just advanced to the NLCS. This town is buzzing, and we're walking into a buzzsaw. And let me tell you, the Eagles don't win tomorrow, then they in trouble. Everybody's got them winning. But our defense travels, and our defense has a good mindset, man. But anyway, how you doing, Phil?
Doing good, man. We got a really good group in here very early. Got Angelica Baron, always representing Captain Taki, which was here 2 days ago, which I love to see. Glimmer Man, of course, representing. You got Mark in here, 24/7 Cowboys. Jake Meeker, obviously.
Jack Meeker.
Jack. Sorry, man, Jake.
Say Jake one more time.
Yeah,
I
swear. He might even come. Exactly. Yeah.
He's in Naples.
But
Gina.
But anyways, man, I am excited for this week because there are so many stories, so many ways that you can go to. If you were just to follow the narrative on a particular story for whichever team, whether it's the secondary of this defense or the offense of that defense, you can get psyched and get into your head that team is going to win, because I think that's the way that these teams are balanced. I know me and you have different. And I was with you in your thought process of what was going to go on during this game. I've changed it. This defense has definitely got me hyped up. The offense is what worries me. I think we can both agree right there. But this defense.
Listen, man, defense travels. Everybody knows defense travels. And I did see, and I just found out before we went live, that Tolbert is active. Hey, man, what a better stage, to really, have an effect than Sunday Night Football for first place. I know it's only week 6, but or week.
For a week 6 type of matchup, this is
week 5.
Week 6 because they're 5-0. Yeah, because they're week 6 matchup. But for a week 6 matchup, this is a playoff type of atmosphere feeling. Like, I'm not saying this is.
I just want us to start the game off hot. I don't care if we get points on the first drive. We need to get some first downs, slow everything down a little bit. I'm telling you, they're going crazy here. They're expecting to roll us out of the building. And if we don't watch it, it could happen. But our defense, as confident as they are, man, it's got me thinking, what do they know?
Well, okay.
I know,
Here's the thing that I get, and I see this on both sides. I see this with Philly fans. I've seen this with a couple of scores. Oh, Dallas is going to get ran out of the building. They're going to be like 41 to the... Now, at what point do you think this defense is just giving 41 points up? I mean, you think they'll just take it.
Yeah, I don't buy that at all.
And Mark Holmes brings up the fact that, the defense that they played. Now, again, we've made the point where they don't pick their schedule. They just play who's in front of them. Now, you can't deny, though, that the people that have been in front of the Eagles have not been the top when it comes to the defense. So, yes, they have been able to push. They have been able to do what they need to do to win the game, just like Cooper Rush is doing what he needs to do to win the game. So, eventually, these things are going to collide. Something's got to give. Now, again,
right.
I think
got to give.
I think it's very possible for Cooper Rush to win this game as long as he follows the defense. If the defense stops and he can get a drive and get a field goal, or he can get a drive and a touchdown, the running game kind of keeps it out of their hands, I can see a victory out of that. But I don't see a victory if you've made this point that if you're down by 2 scores, and I don't mean 2 scores like 10 points, I mean 2 touchdowns, because now you've proven that you can put some touchdowns on this defense, which I think is going to be hard. I mean, whether hey, Jalen Hurts is doing this MVP, whatever, I want to see it. I want to see, the whole combined touchdowns, the TD. Sorry, man, I'm rambling on,
Yeah.
but
No, you're good.
I see
I'm
the
listening
I
to
see
you.
all this
I'm
stuff
looking
where
at Mike Aldana. I'll respond, Mike.
I see all this
Go ahead,
stuff with
Phil.
him and this, the passing TDs. Well, guess what? His passing TD is the exact same number as Rush's passing TDs. So, when it comes to the passing game, are you, as an Eagle fan, are you really scared of Cooper Rush passing all over you? No. Now, are we scared of our defense, of Jalen Hurts throwing all over us? No, man. So when you're on both sides, you can see where both fans can be very confident. But don't turn around and tell me that your team is all of a sudden got the recipe that's going to score 40-something points on our defense. So
Now, my thing to Mike is stay tuned for the pick. But do you think we can score 23 points, chat? Do you think? Because I think that's what we're going to have to score 23 points.
now,
Every week, Dallas gives up a touchdown. Okay, they've done it. I've called it every week. Yeah, Cooper Kupp's going to break one.
I think
every
Rush
week,
can score 25. I think he's capable of scoring 25 in general.
if we
not,
score
not
23 points,
not necessarily on
if
Eagles.
we score 23 points, we win the game. That's the bottom line. So listen. It's not up to me. It's up to Dallas offense scoring the points because I have faith. I have faith in our defense to keep Philly to 20 or less. I absolutely do. What excites me is that we can get pressure with 4. We do not have to blitz to get pressure. Because like we were on Mark's Live, that is different. Jalen Hurts is going to have to make a decision. Now, we can't let them run. Micah Parsons tweeted, who does this, Phil? Who tweets the day before a game saying, I mean, you don't see this. They must know something by looking at the film. And this is, I quote Michael Parsons, if we stop Philly's running game, we win the game. Now, I know it sounds simple, but you don't normally see a guy of Parsons' stature tweeting that. It's not like it was he told a reporter. He tweeted it. Go look it up for yourself. So they see something, which excites me because I live in the area. I'm over in South Jersey, but I'm only 35. This town is buzzing. So we're going into a buzzsaw. We need to withstand, and we cannot let them go right down the field. If I was Philly, I think either team is going to defer, right? Nobody's going to want the ball. Each team is going to want to defer. Philly's going to want to have, Cooper Rush have the ball first, so they get the ball in the third quarter. That's the new hot thing. But you know what?
I mean, Philly may know if Philly is aware, they may know that they're not much of a second half team. That they want the extra opportunity in the second half, or they may want let's go ahead and get it going in the first half.
You know what? I'm going to. No, go ahead, Phil. I just want everybody in the chat. I'm going to write down. You guys can put scores down.
On Mike's here. Mike says
you guys write scores down, and I'm going to write Jack to 24-9, and we'll revisit that on Monday.
Yeah, he goes, if you give Jalen Hurts time, it's going to be a problem. And I agree. If you don't get the pressure on him where, he's actually escaping, and, it doesn't matter how good your corners are. You can't cover a guy for 5 seconds. 5 to 6 seconds. So, that's going to be a problem if you can't get it. But now, I like the matchups that they've had. They've had the matchup. They've won the one-on-ones. They've done their stunts. They've been able to get past these offensive lines. But, again, this offensive line is going to be a hell of a test for this Dallas Cowboys defensive line. But I like it. When I look at the starters, okay, what do you got on the outside? Parsons, and you got D-Law. Okay, when he comes out, you got Dorrance, you got Fowler. So, the production really, I'm not saying that they're on that equivalent level, but the production there, you still have to worry. You can't, and I heard Brian Broaddus say this, and I think this is a very good example. You can't just go,
Broaddus is my go-to, man. He knows his shit.
If the starters come out and you can't go, okay, now let's take advantage while they're out that we're going to do this and this. You can't do that with this defense, man. The starters come out. The secondary is just the second people that come in are just as badass as the first ones. So when you look at Donovan Wilson, you're talking about him and Curse, having them on the field. You got Hooker back there making plays as well too. So that secondary is, of course Diggs will have his moments where he's going to let something up, but he's also has the ability to make a play. So that's better than what we've had in previous years, whether it was Byron Jones or Cheeto. So I'm excited about what the matchup there on the defense because a lot of people are talking about how this Eagles team hasn't played something like this Dallas defense. I don't think anybody I've ever seen play anything like this Dallas defense. This defense is playing crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. If I'm seeing some of the scores here, I got Glimmerman at 27, Eagles 17. So I'm going to write it all down. I'm going to shout out who nails it. But I think, like I said, my heart and everything, I know Dallas can win the game. I'm just saying, gun to my head, who am I picking under the circumstance? But listen, make no mistake, the Eagles are expected to win, and if the Eagles don't win this game, they got to be looking in the mirror and say, when are we going to have a better chance to beat Dallas?
And I think that's also too, like, if they cannot beat them, you got to look. This Dallas team is only, if anything, going to get better as the season goes on. Where I'm not saying again this is the best, because obviously getting in a rhythm and changing. But when you look at when you look at this Eagles, they got their health. They got all their roster pretty much. You might have some injury kind of things here on the offensive line, but they are still the offensive line playing. You don't have a Tyron Smith that's out for a majority of the season. You don't have like a Fajogo that just went on injury reserve. You're running, so you have a majority of your guys. So if you cannot put Dallas away and really prove to the NFL that you can run away with this, there's not a whole lot for Dallas to lose there with the backup quarterback being in there. So, if anything, it will help the controversy whole thing if he wins. But if you call it the controversry. But
Gina, what's up?
So what's going on in the chat here? What are we talking about here? You got some scores here. You got Mark talking about. I'm with Mark here where he's talking about a 17-15 where it's going to be a close score. I just see close scores from either side. It's just that when I see again
Gina 24-10.
When I see 40 something points for either side, I just can't see it. I don't see Cooper Rush putting up 40 something points now.
Listen, this isn't a couch in any way, but the stinkers or things get out. This is the NFL. Things can get out of hand either way.
Yeah, and it's true.
Dallas Dallas could get a pick six and be all over Hurts, and before you know it. But I think the Eagles will find a way to keep it close. Whereas if we get down, that's my fear. So if I have to lean any way, that's where I'm going. But it's for a reason, people. Just understand. I took Cincinnati by a field goal, so that's a good thing. If I don't necessarily take Dallas, but
I think it's like the Rams.
No, I'm there.
I think it's like the Rams. When you look back at the Rams game for this Dallas defense, you look at it and you go, "Oh man, they dominated that offense in general."
Right.
Whether you give them excuses or whatever, they did it. But the whole time, for the majority of the part, the game was close. So, and it was because the offense wasn't doing their thing. Even though the running game was kind of going and stuff like that, it just wasn't. It wasn't, controlling the time of possession. It wasn't really taking the ball away from the Rams. The Rams were still getting their opportunity. So, this defense had to keep on making plays. So, they could probably do this here or there, but eventually it's going to come down the line where you're going to need your quarterback to actually start throwing some touchdowns. And so that's why I say I haven't seen Cooper Rush have to do that yet. So I'm interested to see if he has to do it, can he do it?
Like the chat, I want to hear Lucky Gardenia, 28-17. Wow. Okay.
So
Lucky.
Yeah. So I look at it. This Eagle team, it averages about 27 points. You look at the Dallas defense where they're averaging 14 points. And then, you got some people that still want to give the Eagles that 27 points. It's like, so you think they're just going to be doing their average. Nothing's going to stop them. Parsons, we eliminate Parsons. That's going to be it. I don't believe it. I definitely, when Philly comes on, we'll talk more of the positives, of course, with the Philly 500, because obviously they do.
Listen, I love all the positivity. Don't get me wrong, man. I'm going to be yelling, cussing. I'm in on this game. Randy Wilson, 21-13. And listen, I love it, Phil. This is exciting because I don't have anybody that's, I know I'm probably going to get off you scared, get a dog. I got 3 dogs, so we're good. So, Randy Wilson.
Yeah, I like how this defense, again, DeMarcus Lawrence, the last time he really talked like this, he had a hell of a game. So I do like it. I mean, most of the time, I'm like, okay, you don't really want to give them too much fuel, but
Right.
it's the fact that they're responding to the fact that the Eagles are getting all this credit.
I mean, again, this is Dak is 7-3 against the Eagles in his career. He owns the Eagles. Sorry, he owns the NFC East. It'll be interesting to see how Cooper Rush reacts. That stadium, like the fans are on top of you there, and if it gets going bad, that's why I think we need to run the ball. We need to get first downs early in the game. We need to speed up the game, but slow up the crowd and the defensive pass rush. If we could stop Eagles run, now you do know that they throw a lot of screens.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
that's going to be a good thing to counter our aggressive.
Yeah.
So and the RPOs I think is what kind of.
Well, that's tough because it freezes you for a second.
Yeah.
So you need to stay, your ends have to stay disciplined and not collapse. You need to stay and go up the field, knowing that your D tackles and your linebackers have the middle of the field. Don't give Hurts that edge, because if he has anywhere near 80 yards rushing, it's
it'll be a long
man.
game.
We can't win that kind of game.
That means he got out of the pocket. That means he got out of the pocket.
And we need to make Jordan Davis play more than, because I keep hearing Jordan Davis. Watch out for Jordan Davis. Listen,
I think he affects the A gap. I think there's something there.
Of course,
but
he can fall down and affect the A gap.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't really fear it in that sense. But you're not gonna be stupid. You don't just start testing it, just because you don't fear it. But I mean, this is not what this team is known for. To run it straight up. I mean, they've tried to, and it just hasn't been the greatest thing. 3 to 4 yards. So I still think running it off the edges and stuff is going to be where it's at. Getting in between the edge rusher and those defensive tackles. So again, this game, you're right. I mean, it's a rivalry game. They know each other. You look at last year, you look how we just whooped them all over the field. You can't take that because obviously free agent kind of changes some stuff. Our defense is definitely better than we were last year. So, their offense have gotten better, but they still have to deal with the defense that can definitely take it to them. And that's if we didn't have the defense, I wouldn't give us a chance. Because I can't see Cooper Rush just being able to just
that's what makes me
gunsling.
Comfort.
Yeah.
That gives me comfort that we're a defense and we don't need the blitz. We can get to Hurts with 4, which means we have 7 in coverage. You know what I mean? We have 7 guys roaming. Okay, if he's going to run, he's going to take some big hits.
Well, those passing downs is where you need
hits.
Yeah, the passing downs is where you need the spy. If you're going to do any kind of spy, definitely passing downs is going to be where you want to do that. And there's some guys in this defense that can definitely do well in the spy. Donovan Wilson being one of those guys, while you have Kirsch obviously doing his thing against Dallas Goedert. So there's a lot of matchups. Again, I love. I will keep repeating this, but I love our defensive matchup against their offense to really dominate. But can our offense get shit going to where, the defense is not being on the field all the time? So I mean, I know I'm going around in a circle, but let's see
you're right, because it's going to be interesting to see the matchup. It really is going to be interesting to see. What Dan Quinn does and what the Philly's going to do. Is Philly going to be stubborn and just try and run the ball? I think they think their offensive line is going to give Hurts enough time. I expect them to go deep down the field early. I honestly do. That's a big Philly thing. In the first series, maybe the first play of the game, they're going to go on a 9 route down the field, and I hope our guys are ready for it, because if you think back, Philly always does that against us. They want to get the crowd into it.
And I mean,
going to run
in general,
clouds of dust.
Yeah, I don't blame them either. I mean, when you have an Anthony Brown that occasionally will give you something, either some kind of pass, like interference type thing, or Diggs will give you one occasionally as well too. So I mean, I don't blame them for doing that. It's just, does Hurts have the ability to throw it as far as he can? Because I mean, AJ Brown is a guy that you want to do that deep pass to. It's just, can he do it? His
they're
obviously
going to go for it. They're gonna go.
When you look
for
at the
it,
pressure,
and I just hope our guys are ready to roll.
yeah, when you look at the pressure when you put pressure on Hurts, and I mean, really, can you say this about almost every quarterback? There are some quarterbacks that when you put the pressure on, they do better. You know, Dak is one of those guys, and you get the blitz, all of a sudden he can do really well against you. So when Hurts actually does it, their passing is definitely last in the league. But guess what? We're right behind them when it comes to Cooper Rush. So that's what I'm saying. When people talk about how Cooper Rush is doing all these amazing things and he's managing the game, yes. And I love that. I can't, for a backup quarterback, that's exactly what you need to do. You need to be able to allow your other playmakers to do their thing. And so he's even giving credit to the defense. He's like, this is a team sport. These guys are doing their thing, and he knows that that running game helps him to kind of like not have to throw for 300 yards. So there's stuff that's obvious there, but a lot of people don't see that. They want to make a controversy here, but I like the fact that I would feel way more confident, obviously, if Dak was in the game. But
that's. But
I'm not comfortable if he's hurt and in the game. I don't want that. I don't want he's throwing it off a little bit to the feet because he's not comfortable. I don't want that, man. I want to run it fresh. Go ahead.
Well, right now our defense, we're third in like scoring, I believe. Yeah, right now we're third in the league in scoring defense. That ultimately.
But I would never rely on that. Yeah.
But that's the important thing. How many points do you give up in a game? You got Buffalo at 12.2, tied with the Niners at 12.2. Then us, we only give up 14.4.
And so if you're only giving up 14 and then you're actually scoring a touchdown, aren't you really just giving up 7? So I mean,
right, exactly. That's what I mean. That's why I said this game we're going to need to get a pick six, a scoop and score, or a special teams touchdown. Now, if we get a touchdown, we're still going to need another turnover in the red zone. The best thing that we could do is to get up like we did in the Ram game, get up on the Eagles and make them have to be one-dimensional.
Okay,
now,
hold on. I got Philly coming in. Hold on. Let me.
All right, Philly's coming.
Yeah, I'm going to switch him over here.
There he is. Philly 500. What up,
Philly,
my man? Thank you so much.
Oh, what's happening, man? Thank you for having me on, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for joining. This is Primetime Phil's channel. We've been doing this for a few months now, and we're getting a good following. We really appreciate you, hopping on in. I just want to give Philly a shout out. He really is good at what he does, and I just want to say, I want to get all the niceties out of the way here.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me and Phil, doing this, man, what you do by yourself on a live stream is not easy.
Not easy.
It's not easy, and you get all the damn comment. I mean, he's on it, and it's
thousands and thousands.
I was
of
over Mark's the last couple of weekends. Yeah, I was over Mark's the last couple of weekends, and I kind of look at the chat here and there. Mark is not on it as far as you get everybody, and it's not easy to do that. It takes a lot of stamina, man. So, and a shout out for you. And I grew up in Williamstown. Yeah, you grew up just a town over. My sister lives in your old town. I thank you for joining us.
Oh man, thank you.
I just want you to know this town is buzzing. And I already told my son. I said, I made a deal with them that I got to take them to a game, in the NLCS because we're big Philly fans here. So
congratulations to us today, by the way.
Yeah, shout out to the Fightins, man. What a show, man. It's gonna cost me. Don't get me wrong, because standing room tickets only are $280, but that's all right. It's a once in, you know what I mean? I mean, how many times are you gonna have it? It's been since 2011. So. Right. Thanks for joining us. We're going to get into some stuff, man. We got a nice crowd in here, and I want to introduce my partner in crime, Primetime Phil.
What's going on, Philly? How you doing, man?
What's up, Phil? It's nice to meet you, man.
Yeah, very nice to meet you. I've seen you on Mark's channel. You guys, I love the respect that you guys have for each other, the play off of each other, the camaraderie. So I'm all about it. That's why when he was like, "Hey, man, I want to have Philly 500," I was like, "Yeah, definitely in a heartbeat, man."
Come on, how can you not have him on here?
I even made you a little banner. So if you look back, I have you all green side. I have a banner for you. Got to give the respect.
I love it. No, it's really good. I wish I knew how to do all that.
Yeah, it took me a little bit of time.
Now,
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you this, Philly. We are. I watched your live the other day. You used the term. You could name it any number of things, but Dallas is walking into a buzzsaw. I've been in that stadium.
Right.
I'm not going to date myself. You can see the gray.
When they built it, yeah.
I was there. Well, first, I know I'm going to get killed in the damn chat, but oh well, it is what it is. I wasn't there, but fucking Santa Claus deserved to be thrown at. He was. Listen, he was a mangy, dirty, drunken Santa.
Right.
He deserved. Yeah, see, that's the narrative. The narrative's Philly even throws snowballs at Santa. Listen, man, just know what you're talking about. First,
Right.
I was there when Michael Irvin, his last game played, and they were booing. They weren't booing Michael Irvin.
No.
They were booing Dion. Yeah.
Fair
You know what I
thing,
mean?
yeah.
So I just want to give you a perspective that I'm just not a shit talking Cowboy fan, because and I know that in this area, there's a lot of, as they call them, cockroaches, where they just chirp, but then they're gone.
Right.
Yeah. When I was young, my first experience with like my dad was from born in Oklahoma. He was raised in Dallas his whole life. I was in Dallas in June. People who know me know. I mean, I got a Flyers pool table light. I'm a Phils fan. I know what it is to hate the Cowboys. Now, I love the Cowboys. I know it's weird, and you may not be. I mean, people may not understand that, but Billy, my worst fan, I hate the Boston Celtics. I hate the New York Mets, and I hate is Cindy Crosby, as we say, like in the building. I know the whole deal, like how it works. But I was there when Aikman got sacked 11 times with, Jerome Brown. Reggie White, Clyde Simmons, Andre Dirty Waters. I mean, I was there, dude. You know what I mean? So, so shout out for joining us. We're not that type of Cowboy guys.
I appreciate it.
Look, we get excited, but my main question to you is, and we are going into a buzzsaw. I just want to keep it close for a while, because it's one of those games where it could get out of hand. But what do you see? What's the matchup that you see that I want to know what you think? I mean, I think that if I'm the Eagles, I'm blitzing the shit out of Cooper Rush. Now, what do you think about that?
I'm a big fan of the blitz. Unfortunately, Jonathan Gannon does not blitz nearly as much as I would like. Now, I have a theory on that. My theory is that when he respects quarterbacks, he overcompensates with the respect to the point where it hurts them. Yeah. So hopefully, with Cooper Rush being a backup, he won't show that respect. Like if Dak was playing, he definitely would. I definitely think they've got a blitz. My main thing is I think the big matchup really is the Eagles' offensive line versus the Dallas Cowboys' defensive line, because you guys are very good at getting pressure with your front four. And we have a better offensive line.
You guys are good at blocking, so I think it's a very good matchup on both sides. Yeah,
right. It's a great matchup, and I think that if the Eagles give Jalen Hurts time, I think it's going to be a problem for Dallas. I do agree with you. I think it's a buzzsaw they're walking into, because how that stadium is.
I know.
You know how pumped they are going to be, and I could see a situation where the Eagles go up early, because it's just like Dallas is going to have to. If I was Dallas, I'd be saying we just gotta stay in it early. We gotta kind of weather the storm.
Well,
early.
That's what I told Phil. I told Phil that if we have any, I'm not saying if we have any chance. That would, like with the defense like Dallas's. I mean, I didn't expect them to do. Listen, like the Rams were decimated on offense, but I was kind of surprised that they were up as much as they were, and Cooper Rush ended up with 100 yards passing. I mean, but that's what can happen. In order for Dallas to win, they're going to need scoop and score or a pick six, or like special teams. I think is in our favor, but we're going to need help there. I mean, we can't win the game unless we score 23. I see a lot of scores. People are putting up. We need to score more than 20 points. Eagles are gonna. Eagles are going to score some points.
I
know?
said in my preview prediction video, I said that I think if the Eagles score 21 points, they could win this game.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, we're right around the same.
I think it's both sides too.
It's it's a matchup of two teams that I think have really good defenses. Now, like I was telling a guy in Mark's live a little while ago, Dallas can get pressure with 4, and you're the like only not a lot of people are saying that. Like a lot of these fans are, we're gonna blow them out, but Dallas can get pressure with 4, which means they can drop. Now, I was surprised when I looked in the numbers that Hurts threw 20 screens last week. I mean, that's what scares me though, because read option.
Nick Sirianni said he ran the wide receiver screens because of the amount of times Arizona blitzes. I don't think Dallas is going to blitz that much. I still think they'll do screen. You'll still see that tight end screen, wide receiver screen, but I don't think it will be as much as it was a week ago.
Yeah, I think it's going to really fall.
I thought they did it too much.
Yeah, I think they're going to fall on the linebackers, whether you're doing a screen or anything. I mean, you guys are great at RPOs. Hurts definitely knows when to pull it at the last possible second, which it leaves defense. You gotta respect it for the moment, at least. And it freezes our defensive end. So I think that's a big weapon that you guys have. But again, when I look at the past, like even the past year, Hurts. I've been saying this, I'm interested to see what your opinion is on this on Philly 500. Hurts going into his contract year, the end of the year. I know I'm jumping way ahead and stuff like that, but you got a contract year. He's playing really well. You cannot. He doesn't go in there. They don't pick the schedule themselves. They just beat the teams that are in front of them. So he's been doing really well. Again, this has been something that's been kind of a Achilles heel kind of thing for him, is beating Dallas. Now, going into this contract year, this is going to be a big test for him, and I think this defense doesn't help really when it comes to the Dallas defense. What do you guys think? If he isn't able to beat Dallas, but he still has a good year, do you guys still think that you sign Jalen Hurts? Let's say he does beat him. I'm gonna get a couple of different scenarios for you. If he does beat them, do you think he'll be the next one with the big contract?
Well, I think it depends a lot on the year as a whole, because you could lose twice to Dallas and beat everybody else and be a number 1 seed and go for in the playoffs. So I don't think it's specifically Dallas. And when you deal with last year, I know a lot of Cowboy fans hate that I say it, but that second game, the Eagles. It's hard for me to. It's hard for me to really evaluate that. The first game, Dallas flat out whipped us. There's no doubt about it. But
if you remember correctly, Philly, in the second game with your backups, it was close for almost the first half.
But I think
it wasn't until the second half where they really pulled everybody out.
When you look at that first
unfortunately,
game,
the NFL is that way, man.
Yeah, when you look at that first
Mark
game,
Mark commented in the chat. My son, Philly 500.
So when you look at that first game, I mean, Dak got the offense going very early. The defense was going itself. So, Dallas was able to jump ahead. So, I mean, you can't say that doesn't affect how the game plan, same thing with Cooper Rush. I look at it that way. I mean, if all of a sudden Philly jumps out, I don't think Cooper Rush can just start slinging it down the field. I mean, his weakness to me is the sidelines and the outside the numbers. So, I mean, he's not great at that. So, I don't think he's the type of quarterback that's all of a sudden just going to start bringing you. But to counter my own thing, he hasn't been asked to do that. So these games that he's been doing, he's done what he's been asked of. It just sucks that the last game is only 100 yards and, you don't have very much to compare it to. But let's talk about your wide receiver. How do you think your wide receivers have done? A.J. Brown,
fantastic.
You can't ask much more.
I'd agree. You have to also take into consideration, how does Tennessee look without A.J. Brown as well?
Yeah. I don't know what they were thinking. You have a team that is a legitimate Super Bowl contender, and then you let a piece like that go. It made no sense to me at all. I'm thankful that they did it, but A.J. Brown has been huge for us. I mean, he has done so much for us. And Devontae Smith,
that was my guy, Devontae, meaning I always had a lot of respect for him, and he almost reminds me of a Gallup type. He AJ's going to get the slants, but yeah, Devontae really is your big play guy. I mean, it's just the way it looked, and it's only going to get better. So we're going to have to deal with that.
Yeah,
but, yeah.
I mean, they both have 28 catches on the year. They're having a pretty good year. So, I mean, I think both of them are very good. I'm assuming they're saying, I heard Diggs is going to be covering Devontae, right, tomorrow? Or is he going to be on Brown?
If it were me, I would put Diggs on AJ Brown, but I don't know, dude. I'm not positive on that.
I would put Diggs on Smith, just because I don't think Diggs is the greatest when it comes to tackling, and Brown can break some tackles. So that would probably be my thing.
I just don't think you're gonna. I don't know. I mean, I think a lot. It has to do with Kelsey's health. You have a lot of guys banged up. Are they gonna stay in the? Because how it goes. The worst thing is, oh yeah, I'm good, and then after one series, you got Kelsey in the tent, and he's not coming back. That could be a big deal.
Yeah, that you have to wear. That I'm very concerned about that, because you have Kelsey, Dickerson, and Jordan Mailata all playing, and they're banged up. They're
and I know it because I see it every day on TV, and I know what they talk about. I mean, you know how it goes here. All the fans think it's going to be a blowout. Dallas sucks, but when you get into it, it could be a blowout. Things could get out of hand, but more likely it's going to be close, I would say. But that's but I'm as a Cowboy fan, my perspective, I'm afraid of Eagles coming out. And if they were smart, I could see them doing this. Do a lot of no huddle. Do not allow Dallas to substitute, because that's what makes Dallas good. They could roll. They could pull out a guy, roll another guy, and they're very, very deep on defense. So what do you think about them running no huddle?
Yeah, I could see them definitely doing some of that. I also think that they can't be pass happy either. I think you guys are giving up
definitely not.
like 5 yards a carry. So I'm a big believer in run the ball, wear that defense out, run at Parsons, like wear them out, and it'll help you in the fourth quarter. The big thing for us is we haven't really played, in my opinion, especially offensively, like we haven't played a full 60-minute game. We've had amazing halves, and then we take the foot off the gas or whatever.
You guys, it's almost like you guys. I know it was raining, but I was over Mark's, and we were watching the Eagle game, and Jacksonville got up 14-0, and it was almost like, all right, guys, it's really time to start playing, and they basically took the game over. And then it ended up being close, but for a quarter and a half, they dominated. It was almost like they just said, okay, listen, we have to dominate now, and they did it. But you're playing against another NFL team, so it's kind of hard to spot anybody 14 points. So if you get up 14 on us tomorrow night, I think it's a wrap. But that's just my opinion. I'm not being you're scared. No, I'm just calling how I see it.
This is an interesting game, because you usually don't see October games that are this big of a deal, right? You have a 5-0, 4-1 division rivals that hate each other on Sunday Night Football. So that makes it interesting already. But Dallas is going to be the best defense we've played. The Eagles, I believe, are the best offense you guys have played.
And perhaps the best defense too. If not Chicago,
maybe
Tampa. Maybe Tampa could be probably a little bit better.
Maybe Tampa. And so the way I see it is, I think that the Eagles played really sloppy last week. I felt like there was a bit of a letdown. We managed to survive that, but I think they're going to come out, and I think it's going to be loud. I think it's going to be playoff atmosphere, and I think Dallas has to weather the storm early. But I do wonder, and this is primarily because Dak is not there. I wonder if Dallas's offense can keep up with the Eagles' offense.
Well,
that's to me the question, because I think Dallas' defense is going to make plays. I think the Eagles' offense are going to make plays. But if the Eagles shut down the run, and they can kind of take your run game away, can Cooper Rush make all the throws? Can he?
Well, I could tell you that if he's forced to do that, then it's going to get ugly. Dallas has to run the ball,
but I think he has the ability to do it. I mean, you can look at some of his weapons.
Know that.
I mean, our thing is CeeDee Lamb. Is it the ball is not getting to CD Lamb. No, the ball is getting there. He's just dropping it. Okay, so it's not the pass is off. So he has to catch it. So he has to do his thing. We all know that, Cooper Rush loves Noah Brown. I mean, that's going to be, to me, that's the matchup that nobody's talking about because Noah Brown, he's been working with Noah Brown on the practice squad and all that for so long that's his comfort zone. Just like Dalton Schultz isn't doing crap. And Dalton Schultz won't do anything until probably Dak Prescott comes back. So, I mean, that's his go-to guy. So, I mean, that's something right there in the secondary. I think our defense can keep us in the game. I'm just really curious to see what our offense does against the defense because if they don't do anything and it's like the Rams game where there's a bunch of drives going where you're just punting. It's not the Dallas defense. Can't stop it all the time. I mean, you even look at some of these offenses that are not doing great. Right. They scored some points on us. I mean, so I think.
Yeah, and I'll
go ahead.
Oh, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good.
I was just gonna say, I think one of the guys who's been really underrated for the Eagles, maybe he's just starting to get talked about, is James Bradberry. Okay. James Bradberry has been lights out.
Nah, he's been good.
I mean, he's been good. And then hopefully, it looks like Avante Maddox is coming back. I love the match. I like the wide receiver corner matchup for the Eagles. I do.
I would say, what's his name? Chauncey Gardner-Johnson.
Yeah,
he's had a rough start. So if Maddox is back and he's back, then then that's gonna help.
Well, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson was brought in to play safety, so he's kind of making that transition.
Yeah.
So I expect him to have ups and downs. I thought he was a little bit better last week. I hope he'll get better. Safeties, I think safeties is a position we'll probably have to upgrade.
That's one thing I said. We kind of got lucky because we were smart enough to lock in Hooker. Not lock, and he is just now, as you know, it's easily takes a good year from Achilles, and he's finally back. You got Donovan Wilson. He's killing it in the box, and then you have Jaron Kearse, who's probably going to line up with Dallas Goedert, who always seems to get open. I mean, this guy is always getting open. Yeah. So I think the matchups. But what surprises me is, you don't normally see this talking. At least on the Dallas side, I don't know. I don't usually see Dallas like their defense talking all the shit. I saw where
D-Law,
Micah Parsons. Yeah, he tweeted out today,
right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he if we stop the run, we win. It's like, Philly, what are they seeing? Because I see a dynamic offense. I see Hurts. If you can get pressure on Hurts, he's going to give you some opportunities. But why would you do that?
I think I think it's a backhanded shot at Jalen Hurts. I think what he's saying is he can't beat us with his arm, even though he has probably one of the best receiving cores in the NFL. He still can't beat us with his arm. That's what he's saying. So I hope that Jalen Hurts and that Eagles team, I hope they take it personal, dude. I do. Because that's what it sounds like. That's the
only way. If they do anything less, it could be a lot closer and scarier than it really needs to be. I think if they come out and they just pound the ball right up the middle. Now, Dallas has gotten stout up the middle. Mm-hmm. Like I was telling Phil, earlier, their ends are really good, but they need to, stay disciplined, because if they collapse inside and let Hurts get to the outside or Miles Sanders get to the outside, it could be a long day. It's like, it's a stupid thing. We know Dallas has a good defense, but if they get out of their lanes and they're so worried about getting to Hurts, man, that could kill you. And that's where the screens come into play as well. What do you, honestly, what do you fear? I would imagine it's Dallas' team. If it's going to go wrong for the Eagles, what would you say would be the reason?
Well, I think that if Dallas is getting a lot of pressure, knocking Hurts around, I think that would be a problem, right? Like I said, I really think this is I think the Eagles' offensive line has to do a good job. I'll tell you something else that scares me. And Parsons scares me. No question about it.
He's got a screw loose, man. He's not all there, which is good.
Yeah, that's what you want. That's what you want. But I think I'm gonna say your special team scares me. I am.
So you said that. I was waiting to see if you were going to mention the special teams.
You're talking about getting that extra turnover, right? You need an extra turnover. That's it. That's where you could get something because I have no confidence in our return game.
Is it that bad? I haven't really noticed your special teams.
It is. In my opinion, it is. I mean, I think it's bad. I don't trust our return game at all, and I could see a situation, or what I fear is like it's a tie game, 3-point game, something late fourth quarter. You guys punt to us, and we turn the ball over. That is one of my biggest fears going in tomorrow.
Yeah, well, I love we. What are you saying, man?
I love them turning on you, Brian. They're turning on you, man.
Dude, this is what happens. I'm trying to keep it real. Don't worry. I have my pick. Yeah, Philly every week, like we do a pick a little segment at the end, and because I'm a mailman, I got my pick in the mailbox.
Right.
Right. Relax, man. Relax. But I know the deal. I think if the Eagles lose this game, it's more of a big deal to them.
Oh yeah,
nobody's expecting us around the country. We're getting no love.
One thing one thing Philly
if the Eagles lose the game, it's more of a it just happened. This is our time to put it on Dallas, and we didn't get the job done. I would think either way, this game doesn't go. It's either team is in it. I think both teams make the playoffs. Just looking at the rest of the schedule, unless there's a major injury, they're both going to make the playoffs. So this ain't over.
Yeah, watching Colts Cowboys the other day, and Philly said it as well there too. It doesn't matter who loses this game; they're not out of the picture. There you go. Then exactly. He definitely.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big game. But we got to put it in context. It's October, right? They're going to play each other again. There's a lot of football to be played. Now I'm all for it. It's going to be fun. I would love nothing more than to go into the bye week at 6-0. I mean, especially when you look at the Eagles schedule, because the Eagles schedule, let's face it, it's a soft schedule. It's a really soft schedule. They got to come now. Yeah, they got to play Pittsburgh when they come back from their bye week at home. They got to play Houston. They got to play Washington at home, and that's a Monday night game. And then you got to play. Indianapolis. I mean, they can win all four of those.
Yeah, I know. And just like I was looking at Dallas's schedule, I think Detroit might be a little tricky just because they can score. But after this game, they're home against Detroit, home against Chicago, and then they're a bye week. So to me, worst case, Dallas is 6-2 going into the bye, and then their schedule is really good. So I think, I mean, I don't like to get that far ahead, but they're doing this without their starting quarterback. Everybody wants them. I swear, these people on ESPN and Fox are doing this shit just to piss us off. Because there's no way you could watch the games and say that Cooper Rush is better than Dak Prescott. Yeah, Dak Prescott played like ass week 1. I get it. He did. Yeah. I don't have the answers. I don't have the answers as to why, but he threw for 4,400 yards, had 37 touchdowns and 10 interceptions last year. Yeah. Was the MVP for 3/4 of the season. So why they're. I think they're just like messing with us, just trying to get us with little knife shots in the gut. So because they want to cause issues in Dallas. But
I love it. I love it.
You love it.
I love it. I want a quarterback controversy.
Well, it's almost like you last year with everybody talking shit on Hurts. Right. And now look at him. Now he's the darling. It's crazy.
I mean, Dak Prescott to me is so much better than Cooper Rush. I'm
know.
Sorry.
And what are they looking at?
I don't understand it because I think this game is a lot different game if Dak is playing. Not that the Eagles can't win, but I think it's a lot tougher, a lot closer because
he offers.
I worry about the offensive Cowboys moving the ball.
Well, how many times you see a third down, and Dak's, is a little bit further removed from the injury, where he'll just go and get a first down. Everything broke. Everybody's locked up, and he'll slip out and get a first down. I mean, that's what he needs to do going forward. It's just it's going to be great to watch.
I have a question for you guys. Good. Is there any way that Dak's going to play? Are they holding back, waiting until last second?
I think
so.
I think the only way that happens is if all of a sudden we're not moving the ball at all, maybe.
No,
And if he was active on the sideline, but no, I don't. I think even with that, I think you let Cooper Rush kind of take the if it's sucking that bad, let him take that hit. That way, Cowboy fans can get out of that whole fantasy island.
I heard a conspiracy theory today that Cooper Rush goes out for the first series, and then Dak comes in, and I'm like, I don't know. That's Philly's the place to play those games. Either you're going to start them or you're not. I don't know. I mean, that's an awful tough position to put a guy who hasn't really practiced. I don't think he's going to be active for the game. I think he's, I don't know why they're playing games. Now he's questionable. He went from limited to doubtful to now he's questionable, which means there's a 50-50 chance. Now,
you don't think there's a way Jerry Jones is pushing him in? Get in there. In there.
I think Jerry's. He's 80 now. I think he's so interested in seeing wins that he thinks for some, listen, Dallas can win the game. There is a path. Like me and Phil talked about Cincinnati. There was a path to beat Cincinnati, and the path played out. The game went to overtime. It wasn't like they blew Cincy out. It was a path that we talked about. Like, we're going to need a quick score. We're going to need to shut down the Eagles' run. We can give up a big play and a couple of field goals. We can't give up more than 16 to 20 points. Any more, you're going to lose the game. Unless if something happens that they haven't demonstrated yet with Cooper Rush. So,
yeah, I think if Dallas is hanging around and it's a close game going in the fourth quarter, I think you guys you have definitely a good shot. I'm with you on the idea that I think that Dallas has to watch for the buzzsaw early. It's going to be packed. It's going to be loud.
Yeah,
I can see a situation where Dallas gets the ball and there's an early turnover, something like that. Something because they can't hear. I could see something like that. And then the Eagles kind of jump in front, and then Dallas just kind of hangs in there. That's going to be, that's kind of how I see it.
That's the way it has to go for Dallas for them to have a shot. Hey, Phil, get to the chat because there's a bunch of questions for Philly. I think Mark Hutchin. And we're letting the chat.
No, man, you guys have been going, so I've been listening in on trying to. Most of the time, I
like to talk a lot. I'm from South Jersey.
Brian's taking over and shit. It's just...
I'm done. All right, it's all you. I'm out.
I should do my shows on Sunday. That way, the mail doesn't get delivered. Holy crap, man!
Yeah.
No, man. I mean, when I look at these two matchups, I've seen a lot of similarities between these two. I think the only time that I don't see the similarities is in the off season, where we go more for the draft picks, where you guys go for free agents. And I know that I'm very envious when it comes to some of those free agents because we got a guy in the back, that's just trying to nickel and dime everybody and insulting our own guys.
Steven Jones.
Yeah. So I mean, I like the fact that we do have some guys that we can bring in, young guys, but you guys have done a really good job this offseason putting some people in there. I was really surprised by your offseason move in the sense of, trading up, trying to get Jordan Davis, probably definitely a replacement for Fletcher Cox. So how are you liking your draft pick so far?
Love him. I love it. I love that Jordan Davis pick. And that was such a typical Eagles move to go and draft a defensive tackle there. I thought they had to trade up. I thought it was the right thing to do. The Nakobe Dean pick, I thought was a great pick. Now, you got a lot of Eagle fans worried. Where's Nakobe Dean? Why haven't we seen Nakobe Dean? But what they're missing is that T.J. Edwards and Kaiser White have been really, really good. So there's no need to play him. So I like him, for the future.
That's kind of like our Jabril Cox.
Yeah, he's a future pick.
Yeah.
But
I'm totally okay. Yeah, I'm great with that. And then I thought the A.J. Brown move was very smart. I mean, people think about the A.J. Brown pick as this year, but he's 24 years old. That's a pick for down the road too. So even making a trade like that was really more about the future than just this year. So I can't.
Yeah, they're ahead of schedule, if you ask me.
And we got 2 first-round picks.
Right, I was just ready to say. So, every week I'm like, all right, New Orleans, you need to win. This is getting ridiculous. I know. You went top 5 plus your own. It looks like your pick's going to be in, hopefully, not the end, probably mid-20s. Yeah, right? I got Mark Hutchin here. He's asking, Philly, what's your thoughts of playing against Jason Peters?
you know,
And
we've
I want
been
to
on
talk
a
to you
revenge.
about him too because I
We've
think
been
it's
on a
bullshit.
Yeah, we've been on a revenge tour this year, right? We had to play Doug, we had to play Carson. We pretty much played all these guys that used to be with us. To me, Jason Peters should have retired 3 years ago. I'm just going to be honest. He's always hurt.
He
He's
is always
banged
hurt.
up. And, you know, Jason Peters going to Dallas. Of course, I didn't like that he went to Dallas, but
Yeah.
I wasn't too worried about it, you know.
I think he's in a good role, though. I think he's in a
Right.
good role because he's not expected to start. People say, well, he's mentoring and he. I mean, I think he'll get a couple of series in, and he'll be a left guard.
Right.
I think that's where it's at. But he made a comment, and it was, you know how it goes. It was totally taken out of context.
Mhm.
He had a smile on his face. He said he loves Philly,
Yeah.
and not that it means anything. Because at the end of the day, there's more shit being talked than what Jason Peters
Right.
said, but they made it sound like, Philly fans are idiots.
Yeah.
That's not how it was. So
Yeah.
just to let you know, but you know how that works.
I didn't take it like that. I didn't take it like he was trying to be native. Now, I got a lot of crap in the video I did about it because people were like, no, you should be offended. You let him off the hook. But I didn't take it. I think I know what he was trying to say, And,
Yeah,
listen,
people
my
need to-
wife loves
yeah.
me and calls me an idiot every day.
Yeah, welcome to the
Every
show.
day.
Yeah.
So,
Well, you're the King Dingbat, right?
There you go. That's right. King
Right,
Batman, yeah.
King Dingbat here. Yeah. So I don't know. I see. Like I was telling Phil, I think Philly's going to come out. It's on prime time. Philly's going to come out and go deep. If it's not the first play, it's going to be the second play. They're going to go
Nice.
deep to
Awesome.
AJ Brown.
Quez
You remember?
Watkins. Get Quez. I would go Quez deep.
You remember it was
Quez.
Halloween when you got T.O. and he went deep and you connected. That was I think that was Carson, right? Was that Carson?
No.
Or that was Donovan. That was
Donovan.
Donovan. Yeah. So I think that's what's going to happen. Eagles are
So
talking about running the
think,
ball.
you think they come out the 25-yard line and they go play
I think they take
bomb?
a shot. I think they take a shot.
I
Just
would not. I don't mind it.
the fans are going to be nuts. Now, Diggs likes to give that separation and show the separation and then try and close the gap. So we'll see. I mean, that could be good for us. But all right, Mark Holmes got a question for you. Why is Philly 500 scared of the Cowboys?
I think Mark's. I think he's eating too many chicken wings over there.
Dude, he's got some good food over there, man.
I think Mark's scared. That's why I had to basically go out of my way and call him out on the carpet to get him to bet because I think he's scared. I think he knows.
Well, I mean, I can understand his hesitation with our backup quarterback being in there, left tackle
I
being
agree.
there.
Yeah.
So I mean, I definitely see his hesitation.
But that's part of the game, man. You're not always. Very seldom is one team 100%.
The part that I have a problem with is when people bet in the preseason, and I'm like, really, dude, you're betting on the preseason games? Like, come on, man.
Right.
I bet I could shake my head, and I'm like, no, that's not what I want to do.
Yeah, I don't bet in the preseason. I don't.
One
I
guy.
definitely don't.
Yeah, I mean, all right, like now let's go back into like the matchup a little bit, and when we'll talk about your matchups previously in the year, you guys had to go against the Giants. We had to go against the Giants as well too. What do you think about the Giants this year, man? Do you think it's a false thing? Do you think they're actually?
We haven't
Oh, I
played.
thought you died.
We haven't played
No,
the
you
Giants
guys.
yet.
That's right.
No, we played Washington.
It was Washington. Yeah.
No,
You destroyed Washington.
I think the Giants are well coached. I think they're very well coached. I think they're scrappy. I kind of like their defense. I like the aggressiveness of it. And I think if you let them hang around, they could beat you. And they showed Green Bay that because Green Bay was up at halftime, 10 points. Let them hang around. Tennessee let them hang around. And I think I think I don't think they're as good as the Eagles or Dallas, but I think they could be a playoff team. I do.
So what do you think about Washington?
Coles Cowboys.
Do you think it's going to get worse and it gets better?
Washington, they're horrible.
Rio. Yeah, I was talking to Rio a couple weeks and it was at the Dallas game. And listen, they were in it for a little bit. Their defensive line is still really good.
Really good.
they're done.
Carson just hurt his finger, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
So
I
he
don't
gotta
know
go
if
see
that's
a
good or
specialist.
bad, Philly. I don't know if that's good or bad.
Yeah.
I mean,
Is it Heineken?
I never seen anything like it. You get down to the goal line, all of a sudden you're going shotgun and you're throwing the ball. Hand the freaking ball off. I don't understand.
Well, that's why
I don't understand.
That's why, like, people say, well, why you got, Hurts ain't throwing touchdown passes down at the goal. I'm like, he's at the 1 yard line, quarterback sneak it. There's no need to throw it there. But Carson looks shot to me. Like, I just can't believe, like, one of the strengths of a Carson, you'll remember, he was so good at breaking containment and throwing on the run from out of the pocket.
He throws a good deep ball. That's the one thing he does do.
He can't move. He can't get out of the pocket anymore.
And he's fumbling everything. He's like, it's like
he's always had
dimes.
that problem. Yeah. But I think they're shot. I think they're done. What are they?
I really think it's a two-team race. I know Giants are good, and I know Cop is going to get all pissy that we're that we're not
Give them respect.
What's the word? Yeah, well, like we're not thinking of them. I'm thinking of you, and you might win. I mean, I think Baltimore goes and wins, but I mean, they should be happy, but I think it's going to come out. It's a two-team race, and if the Eagles win tomorrow, then we're 2 down. So you don't want to get too much further behind here. Yeah. So it's like it's rough.
I'll be honest. I think you could have the 2 best teams in the conference in the same division.
And I think our growth going forward, Philly, is Dallas could get better when Dak comes back, and I think Dallas can play shitty and still win while he's getting his act together. And by the end of the year, that's what it really matters. You could win all your games, but if you stumble into the playoffs, then that's what it really matters, how you're playing down the road. So if we can keep piling up wins and while getting better, I know the Eagles don't want to hear that, but that's what I'm thinking. I hope we win tomorrow, and I'm going to have my good luck shit all around me, and but
I think the worst thing is that you got to wait all day in order to get to the game. I think as long as at least it's not Monday night.
I hate night games anymore, man.
And honestly, Amazon should have bribed somebody. Amazon should have bribed somebody taking this game as their Thursday night game. Like, holy crap!
Fucking Amazon, man. I'd never seen those Thursday games are horrendous.
Yeah, I have a theory on that too. Okay, you guys can tell me what you think. I think the NFL teams don't want to play big games on Thursday. I don't think they want to play toughest opponents on Thursday because it's a short week. It's hard to get ready. So therefore, they're more apt to go for these kind of games where it's going to be, one team's good, one team's bad. Maybe both teams are bad.
Yeah.
Either that or it's like. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say. I mean, imagine this game Thursday, and imagine if it was this past Thursday, like. The Eagles, it's such a disadvantage for the road team too. That would be such a disadvantage.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of when you're playing cards and your littlest brother came in and you gave him like the crappy cards. Like here, play with these, and that's kind of what Amazon is getting. They got into the deal, and they're just like, no, I got that game, he gets that game. You can take the Chicago game. So I mean, you're seeing a lot of that. It's really hard, and people are like, well, it sucks for Amazon, but at the same time, we're watching it. We're sitting there dragging through it, but we're sitting there still watching it. I need some football.
I'm a football guy. I can't help it.
Yeah.
I if it was up to me, I'd get rid of the Thursday games altogether and just go back to the two on Thanksgiving because it made that a special.
That makes sense.
thing.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's not. It's like okay, another Thursday.
I got
game.
news for you. By the late game, I watch maybe a quarter and I'm out, man. I've eaten too much. I'm in like a tryptophan coma.
Yeah.
Listen, I got a shout out I got to do. My neighbor's kid, Aiden Morales Ford. He's a big Primetime, but he loves the Eagles. He loves Primetime Phil, and he loves Philly 500. So the 10-year-old Aiden Morales is giving you a shout out, Philly.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
It's an honor. It's an honor. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
he's got good taste.
Yeah, you're a hero. Well, listen, Philly, you would appreciate this. I never forced anything on my kids. I got 3 boys. They're all, my youngest just graduated. I never forced Cowboys on all of them. Out of all of them, the only one that's a Cowboy fan is the young one, is AJ. Now, I'll just go. I named my son AJ because my last name is Green, so he was AJ Green
There you go.
far before we knew about AJ Green. But
Right.
Yeah, he's the only one that's an actual Cowboy fan. The other two root for the Eagles, and God bless them. But
That must be fun on Sundays, man.
it is.
You
Yeah,
know?
it is fun. And my sister, she lives where you were from, and they're actually. It's funny. He's an attorney, so he actually befriended Carson Wentz. So when they traded away, they were devastated. They're huge Eagle fans, but they're fans of yours, and they're fans of mine through family, so that's all right. I don't care. It's all good. But I appreciate you coming on, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I appreciate you having me.
So I have to finish it out with who do you think? I know it's going to be very close in your mind, Philly, but who do you think is going to win, and what do you think the score is going to be?
I think the Eagles win, and I think it's going to be 24-10. I think it'll be closer than the score, but I think the Eagles go up early. And I think Dallas kind of crawls back, makes it a game, and then I see kind of like a late touchdown to kind of seal it. So that's kind of how I see it. If Dak was playing, I think it would be much closer. I would still probably pick the Eagles, but I just think it's a really good spot for the Eagles. I feel like we kind of had our letdown game last week, and I expect that because it was a letdown game, I expect them to be a lot sharper. They're going to be up. And then, of course, no Dak. I think that hurts Dallas. I got 24-10.
Okay.
I think it will be close, but I do think the Eagles going to come out. It's going to be a buzzsaw. Like, I can see a situation where, like I said, Hassan Reddick strip sack early, get extra points. Maybe you're up 10-0, 13-0, 17-0, something like that. And then Dallas crawls themselves back in. We kind of stutter like we have been. And then something late happens to clinch it. So that's how I have it.
Now, I'm definitely. I was with you prior to the Saints game, not Saints game, but the Rams game. I thought, the way Cooper Rush was kind of going, escalating, it was kind of going where he wasn't moving this offense as much. So I didn't really think that we were going to do much against the Rams. I didn't really honestly think I was going to, when I was thinking about Philly and how they've been going, I didn't really think Cooper Rush was going to do much against that. But how this defense is playing, I definitely can see a path of how. Cooper Rush, again, has been doing what has been asked of him. Now, there are possibilities that he can go downfield with some of these weapons. I wouldn't trust it all the time. He starts slinging it, it's going to be a long game for us. The running game I can see possibly gets going. So my score, I think Dallas can win this, but I see it more of a 20-17, and I see it maybe a late score that puts us ahead. And so I think Philly can definitely keep the advantage all the way, but I can see our defense stopping you guys and then allowing our offense to at least get a field goal. And then stopping you guys, that defense, it's unpredictable, and I think that's where it lies for me. So, Brian, tell us, what is the mailman?
Yeah, well, first, I got everybody's score in the chat here. I got everybody. I got Take Cowboys, Juan Hernandez, Angelica, I Love Weed. I got you. I'm keeping track here. Listen, is there a path that Dallas could win? Yeah, absolutely. With a defense like Dallas, they're in every game. I did say that there are those games that just get out of hand and you just throw it away. I don't think this is that game. I don't think Dallas gets blowed out. Dallas has a lot of confidence on defense. I think they could win the game if they could stop the Eagles' running game. They could get to Hurts. You need like a quick scoop and score or a pick six. You need to get the game into the fourth quarter. Philly, is the kicker playing, or is there going to be Dicker the kicker again?
No, I think Jake Elliott's good to go.
Okay, so if he's good to go, then that's not good for us. Because I think Dicker, even though he did good last week, I think on a prime time game, I think that's an added thing that you don't want. But here's the official pick, people. Don't shoot the messenger here, okay? Do not shoot the messenger. I think they can win the game. I've been all over Dallas as far as against the line every week. So, But here's my final. I got Eagles 23. That's my score. Eagles 23. I Dallas 16. I think it's going to be a close game. I like Cowboys plus the 6.5 and the over in the 42. Now, I don't think Dallas will score 20 points. So that's where I look at. I think Eagles score early, and then we hold a couple of field goals. And then like Philly, I think they get another touchdown late. I think Dallas scores one touchdown, maybe 3 field goals. something like that. But I got 23-16 Eagles. The chat, listen, I'm on a roll. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I already know. I think I got to eat a friggin' chip if Dallas wins. So I'm rooting for Dallas. Me and Phil got to eat a chip next
you see how that goes, Philly? You just get your chat getting you into crap that you know. You're like, hey man, I'm not trying to write that check. You know, like
listen, man, I gotta keep it real. I could sit here and blow smoke and say we Dallas going. I'm just being honest. I think there's an avenue we could win, but just knowing the town, it's rough, man. I'm gonna be rooting on the boys tomorrow, but it's gonna be a rough game, man. I just hope we can keep it close and win it in the end.
All right.
So I love weed. You can go to hell.
I appreciate the chat, man. I appreciate you guys coming through. Philly, I appreciate you coming through, man. It's great to actually work with you finally.
Yeah, man. I'll keep in touch with you. Thanks a lot, man.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
All right, guys.
And maybe next time you come on, Brian can shut up a little bit and let you talk as well.
Shut the
but
no, it's all good.
No,
it's
man,
all good. I appreciate it, man.
All right, later.
Good luck to you guys tomorrow.
Yeah, man. I'm going to hand it out with the ending credits.
Hey! We know each other. He's a friend from work.
What you do, you're like a little screw loose type of guy, and that's how I am. So I'm digging it, big guy. I am.
Who are you? You. No, not me, you. Yes, I am you. Just answer the damn questions. Who are you?
GameTime Bryan, otherwise known as the mailman here.
Cool name. Superpowers?
Broadcasting from the illustrious Jobu Studio.
Come on, are you going to tell me who that is?
Primetime Phil, and of course my co-host, GameTime Bryan.
Oh, Jesus Christ, this place is going to explode. $100,000, I don't even need to hear it.